week 9 of the fantasy basketball season, and he has a few guards I would look to trade for and buy low this week. The first guy is Evan Fournier of the Orlando Magic. So Fournier, he's been banged up this month with a back injury, and he's only played in 14 games to back spasms and other back problems. He came back last night versus the New York Knicks with Fournier, and he played a pretty good game. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 3 threes made in 31 minutes of play, and 53% from the field on the season. Fournier, it's been tough, like I said. He's only played 14 games. He's ranked 217 in fantasy basketball, 17.9 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, a steal a game, 2.3 threes a game, and 45% from the field for Fournier. So Fournier, before he returned last night, he missed 6 ball games, and tomorrow versus the Golden State Warriors, he's probable to play. But the thing with him has been the back, and that's a bad injury, obviously, no matter what you're doing in your life or what sport you play. Once that back goes, it's hard to be mobile and do many things. But Evan Fournier, I believe you could buy him low this week, and I think the Magic, they sat him out a decent amount of times to try to get that back right and have him play. And last night, he showed no ill effects. He played the 31 minutes. He was mobile. He was playing his game. And Fournier, obviously, he's going to help you in the scoring category. He's good with his percentages, and he can hit threes, and you don't got to pay the premium to get him. So if a Fournier owner's not happy with Fournier missing a lot of games this season, even though he came back last night, this is the time to pounce and try to trade for him. And I don't think you got to give up much to get Fournier. The second guard I would look to get on a buy low or just trade for in general this week is Victor Oladipo of the Houston Rockets. Oladipo, he's been out now for a while with the right foot strain. And the injuries, they've been a problem for Oladipo the last 2 or 3 seasons now. He had the ACL, and this season, it's been the foot. On the season, he's ranked 138 in fantasy basketball, 19.5 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 1.4 steals, 2.4 threes a game, 40% from the field, which is pretty bad, and 74% from the foul line. And the last time he played a game was February 11th was Victor Oladipo, and now who knows how long he's going to be out. And Oladipo, he might be another candidate once again to get traded. He got traded once already this season in the 4-team trade for James Harden by going to Houston from Indiana, and now there's rumors picking up that the Knicks are interested in him, Miami's interested in him, a few other teams, with the trading deadline looming a month away in March 25th, but we'll see what happens with that. But as far as fantasy basketball goes, he's got the foot injury. I'm an Oladipo owner, and I'm very frustrated with him. Even though I have an injured list spot, he don't play back-to-backs. He's been banged up the whole season, and at this point, I might even trade him off just for anything, a guy that can play consistent. And that's the type of deal. If you want Oladipo on your team, I don't think you got to give up much to get him. As long as you trade a player that's pretty decent in the rankings and a player that's not hurt or plays back-to-backs and he's consistent. So Victor Oladipo, he's definitely a guy you could go out there and buy low. And if you're an Oladipo owner and want to get rid of him, you could also look at it as the other side of things and just dumping him off and get anything. The next card I'd look to get is Dennis Schroeder of the Los Angeles Lakers, with Anthony Davis now out of the lineup at least 2 to 3 weeks with the calf strain. I believe Davis will be out more, and Dennis Schroeder on the season, he's ranked 179 in fantasy basketball, 14.2 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, a 3 a game, 82% from the foul line, and a decent, not great, 44% from the field. And in the last few weeks, his numbers, they haven't been all that great either in the last week. 11.3 points a game, 1.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 75% from the foul line, and 44% from the field. So in that time, he's ranked 276-ish, Schroeder, and he's been inconsistent a lot this season. And the last few games, you could just see it by the game log. February 12th versus Memphis, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. February 14th at Denver, 8 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 threes, 3 for 10 from the field. And now the first game without Anthony Davis, he had a good one. 24 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 4 steals, 60% from the field. So Schroeder, he's going to have the ball in his hands more. He's going to have more shot attempts because obviously Anthony Davis, he was probably taking anywhere from 15 to 20 shots a game. And now Schroeder, I believe he'll be the second or third option in this Los Angeles Laker offense. And now this is the time to go out there and buy him low before he has another 2 or 3 good games this week, where tonight it's going to be a great one versus the Brooklyn Nets. I know Kevin Durant's out for the Nets and Kyrie Irving's probable, but either way, it's going to be a much-watched ball game with probably these two teams, in my opinion, being in the NBA Finals this season unless something crazy happens. So what a game it's going to be tonight, and it's going to be a playoff atmosphere type of ball game. But Dennis Schroeder, anyway, he'll have the ball in his hands. He's going to get more minutes played, more shot attempts, and I think he'll continue the good run. So you should go out there now and try to trade for him before his value's too high and you can't get him on a discount. The next guard I would look to get this week in a deal is Mike Conley Jr., the Utah Jazz. Conley, he's been solid this year, but once again the injury bug has caught up to him, and that hamstring injury for the veteran, that's not a good thing, but I think he'll come back soon. He almost played in last night's game. He was questionable, but the Jazz took it cautiously with him, and they sat him out. And on the season, 16.5 points a game for Conley, 3.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.4 steals a game, 2.8 threes, 81% from the foul line, 45% from the field for Conley. So Conley, he hasn't played in a ball game since February 5th, but the numbers, they've been great for Conley on the season. Again, the injury, it's obviously tricky, but if he bounces back and plays well, why not? I don't think right now you've got to trade much. In one of my leagues, which is a 10-team league, someone dropped Conley, and I just scooped him up off the waiver wire. I wouldn't go to the extremes of dropping him, but Conley, just seeing what happened in my league, you could only think with Conley, you see in my league, owners, they're losing patience with him, even with an injured list, but he was putting up good numbers, and he's a player you definitely could go and buy low this week and not have to give up much. And I believe he comes back tomorrow night versus the Los Angeles Clippers. So go out there and buy Conley. And the fifth and final guard I would try to trade for a buy low this week, Duncan Robinson and the Miami Heat. It's been a tough season for Robinson, no doubt about it, this year in fantasy basketball. Last year, he was a monster for this Miami Heat team towards the end of the season, and obviously in that great playoff run where they fell short in the championship to the Los Angeles Lakers. But on the season, he's ranked 171, is Robinson. 12.6 points a game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 3.3 threes a game, 85% from the foul line, and only 41% from the field. So the struggles have been real for Robinson. Last season, he shot 47%, but this year, he can't get out of his own way. And it's tough to shoot a high percentage when 90% of your shots are three-point attempts. And in the last few weeks, the numbers have dropped even more for Robinson. 10.1 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 2.7 threes, 80% from the foul line, and an awful 35% from the field. So he's ranked 250th in that time is Robinson, and he just can't get the rhythm going. The shot's been off. This Miami team, they've been off as well this season. Now in a tailspin, losing 3 ball games in a row, and the last few games for Robinson haven't been all that great. February 13th at Utah, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 threes, decent 50% from the field. February 15th at the Clippers, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and assists, 3 threes, only 38% from the field though. And then February 17th for Robinson at the Golden State Warriors last night, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 threes. So Robinson, he just can't get the field goal percentage going. He's been shooting under 45% most of the season, and on the year, it's at 41%, so he's not shooting the ball well. I think, though, he's a shooter, and shooters shoot, and he'll get out of his slump, I believe, in Robinson. And you don't got to give up much to get him. A lot of owners have dropped him already. He's owned in 66% of fantasy leagues, so that's meaning he's available in 34% of fantasy leagues. But in a trade, you could get him for probably nothing, or you trade a guy in a 2-for-1 deal and you try to get Robinson as the second guy in the deal. But I definitely will go out there and try to get him. I think he's going to shoot out of the slump. I've been saying that most of the season. But Robinson, he's too good not to get things going and shoot a better percentage. So that's a few guards I would look to try to trade for or buy low here in week 9 of the fantasy basketball season.